doing? It's being live streamed. Okay, I think we are good to go.
Fantastic.
Hello.
All right. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is week 5 of our All Access August. And today we have a super special event for you that's going to bring all of the amazing content that we've been delivering to you this month together, wrap it up in a nice little package and put a bow on it. And we are just excited about our 2 guests that we have with us today. Some of you may know Ines McNeil, who's our founder and CEO. And the visionary behind the Modern Dog Trainer. She has just done an amazing job putting together training content for dog trainers of all levels, whether you're brand new and you're just trying to get your business off the ground, you don't know your very first step to take, or you're already have a big business going and really thriving. Ines has put together some amazing content for people of all levels that are in the dog training space, specifically the positive reinforcement R+ dog training space, and growing that business. And in a minute, she's going to share a little bit about like the backstory behind the Modern Dog Trainer and what the mission of this company is. And it's really revolutionary, I think, and it's going to completely change our industry. And so we're really honored to have Ines on with us today. Thank you, Ines, for joining us. And it's going to be. Yeah, we really appreciate it. I know your schedule's super busy, and but this is really an honor to have you on this evening or this morning, I guess, for the final edition of the All Access August event. And then, in addition to Ines, we have Tylene, who's been with us for quite a long time. She's actually somebody that every single one of our students talks to before they become a student. And you don't hear from her much other than that, except for lately we've getting to see her a little bit more in the Facebook groups and things. She lives in Maui. So it's, 5 a.m. out there, Ty? Something like that?
It is.
It's early. So thank you for getting up so early and being here with us. It's such an honor to have you here because folks generally don't get to hear from you without going through a little bit of a interview process with the Modern Dog Trainer. And so having you sharing exactly what you do, and the great thing about Ty is that she's really a problem solver. She's somebody who can look deep into somebody's business, listen to what's going on in their business, and be able to point them to exactly the right resource for them in their exact situation. Because every single business is unique and different. You've got a different market, different personalities, different strategy and goals. And Ty is just a master at that. So thank you for being on with us today, Ty. We're really excited to have you here. It's awesome.
Very excited to be here.
Cool. All right. Let's dive in a little bit and get started. And I'll get you up to speed. If this is your very first time on a live with the Modern Dog Trainer, you've hit the jackpot today. You've really definitely hit the right time. And we're super excited about what we're going to share with you. But I want to get you up to speed because we have been doing live events every single week for the last 4 weeks. And so there's been so much great information dropped in these live events. And so today we're going to kind of bring it all together. Some of these live events have been very challenging for the viewer in the sense that they're challenging your belief system. They're challenging the tactics that you're using in your business. They're challenging you to think differently, which is a big part of what the Modern Dog Trainer is all about. Yes, we shared the how-tos, but that's really one component of it. And I'm going to let Ines talk more about that in a second, about how the mindset shift is really the thing that makes the big difference. And really that your personal development becomes before your income increases. And Ines is a master at sharing that information with folks. So week 1, we dove into the marketing topic, which is always the most asked about topic. And it seems mysterious, I guess, to a lot of folks out there because they're not getting the results they want in marketing and getting a steady stream of referrals and income and leads and all that kind of stuff. So we talked about some of the false beliefs that people have about marketing on social media specifically, and gave you some great information on how you can move forward in that area and start generating a steady flow of good quality leads of your ideal clients. And that really starts with identifying who is your ideal client and start talking to those people where they're hanging out. So if you missed that one, you can find those. All of these links will be are in the Modern Dog Trainer Facebook group. You can find all of these afterwards and get caught up if you haven't followed along all month. The second week, we had Coach Megan on. Coach Megan is somebody that also every one of our students has a very personal relationship by the end of the courses with her, because she is their kind of their guide through the material as well as how to implement it into their business, and has just done an amazing thing. And she spoke about client communication in week 2, which was so powerful, because how many times have we gotten on the phone with somebody and they just dump hours worth of information on us, and we got to get control of that conversation. And Megan talked about how to maintain control of the conversations, how to have the right conversations with prospective clients, how to set expectations, how to generate referrals. I mean, it was so powerful, so much great information in that one. Great tactical stuff that you can do right now, but also really explaining why it's so valuable to keep control of those conversations and how it benefits the client as much as it benefits you and your time schedule. Week 3, Megan teamed up with Maddie, who basically runs the show around here, keeps us all moving and everything working behind the scenes. And just Maddie's also an amazing asset to you as a student or a client of the Modern Dog Trainer. She helps you actually put your systems in place, and really to help streamline your business. And that's what she does for all of us here at the Modern Dog Trainer as well. And so her and Megan got together and did a powerful session on money mindset and really crushing false beliefs about money and business that might be holding you back. And they give you lots of ways to move forward as well. But a lot of that conversation was about just how our mindset are really holding us back in business and income generation. And then last week, Maddie did a just powerful session on time management, which she's a master at. She keeps all of us in going forward and on schedule and moving forward. And so she definitely has really a master's degree in this particular topic. So if that's something you struggle with, make sure that you go back and find last week's session. But really, all of these sessions will help you in this one area as well. But today we're really talking about solutions. We're talking about how do you take your business to wherever your next level is, and what does that look like for you, and what do you want out of your business? And so normally what we've been doing with these sessions is asking you 3 tough questions to kind of get you thinking about areas in your business that are probably in need of some help, in need of some work. And so we're not going to quite follow that formula today, but I did want to ask a question: is what is your goal for 2022? What did you start this year off with as a goal for yourself and your business? And I hope you had one. Many times we get so busy with everything, we don't know where to go, and we just start doing the thing every single day. But if you could take a breath, write down a goal that you'd like to have hit by the end of this year. And there's still plenty of time in this year. And I know a lot of times we get this time of year and we're like, well, start setting goals for next year. But really, you could do anything you want in the next 4 or 5 months and be able to crush the goals that you have for 2022, especially if you pay attention over the next half an hour, 45 minutes, take a ton of notes, and be ready to ask questions. This session is going to actually give you an opportunity to ask questions of both Ines and Ty at the end, which is very rare. So if you've got some questions, drop them in the comments section underneath this video, and we'll make sure to get as many of those questions answered as we possibly can. So, but today is all about solutions and finding ways to move your business to a new level. And again, we have Ines here with us today. And if this is your first time coming on to one of these live events, you've definitely hit the jackpot with this. And we're going to invite Ines to share a little bit about the backstory of the Modern Dog Trainer and how this whole thing happened. It's really a powerful story, and I think you're going to really appreciate Ines's experience, 15 years of experience in the dog training industry specifically, and being able to, she's gone through the struggles you've gone through in her own business, and being able to turn all of that into something that is going to help literally thousands of dog trainers. We're already well on our way to do that, but going forward, the goal of this company is to help dog trainers become incredibly successful to be able to move the R plus movement into the mainstream. And so Inessa's found a way to do that in a super powerful way. And so I'd like to again welcome Inessa and
Thank
give
you.
her the floor. You bet.
Thanks, Brian. What a powerful intro. Thank you so much for kind of summarizing all of the amazing conversations we've had this month. And hopefully you do get the chance to go back through and watch the recordings, grab the worksheet that went along with it so that you can kind of journal along and think through. Because I really do think a lot of the answers we have within ourselves. And so making sure you're asking yourself the right questions is going to be important. And we're here as coaches to ask the right questions. So my story, all right, should we start at the beginning? I usually cut to like 2014, but it really does start way before then. I grew up loving animals. My parents did not let me have my own animals. I think I had one cat growing up. They tried letting us have two lab puppies, which they promptly ate the house because they had no idea what they were doing, and I was still too young to do anything about it. So fortunately, just by, I guess, the grace of the universe, I had some amazing neighbors on my street, and they were animal rescuers. And so one neighbor had many cats. She was a big cat rescuer, and the other neighbor rescued dogs. And so from the get-go, I was constantly over there helping with their animals. And so I really grew up alongside a lot of different kinds of animals and dogs and cats. So that started my journey early on. I really just connected naturally and kind of organically. English was a second language for me. You probably can't tell that now, but I moved to the US when I was 4 years old. So I was still really very much adapting to the culture, the language. And one of the avenues I used was just really using animals to connect with other people because, two animal lovers will usually come together over an animal. So that was a really easy way for me to find connection, both with the animals themselves, but also with the people that, I wanted to be friends with or grow up with. So fast forward a few years, in college. Well, I spent most of my teenage years volunteering at the local animal shelter in Texas. So been there, done that when it comes to animal rescue and, all of the fun and not so fun things that go along with that. So fast forward to college, I started my own dog training business, and that was really when I got a really good taste of what it was like to try and start your own business, beyond just wanting to play with dogs or be with dogs. And what I quickly realized was that there were really no resources online at the time about what it was like to run a dog training business. It very much was information that was stored within the minds of your mentors if you were lucky enough to have one. And so I really wanted to display that information online, as I learned how to run group classes, how to run private lessons, how to manage customers, in order to get good dog training results, right? Those are all pieces of the puzzle that really have to come together in order to have successful results with your clients. We started posting information online on the blog, on the Modern Dog Trainer, which started out as a blog and has since evolved over many years into a really successful coaching business because, again, I've made all the mistakes you possibly can. I've been in the dog training industry over 15 years. And so I really like to try and help you guys not make those same mistakes and really accelerate your growth much more easily and quickly, because when you guys succeed, then we are essentially helping the greater community, the dog owning community, adopt positive reinforcement-based training at a faster pace, right? So that's kind of our little goal is to help you guys through your businesses spread the word of positive reinforcement-based training. There's not one label to really apply to all those different methodologies, but you know what I mean. And I think that business is very much a really great topic to discuss and something that's really important to have in place in order to be able to have the resources, the capacity, the time, the money to be able to show up how you want to show up and give back to your community in the way you want to. So hopefully that wasn't too much of a ramble. There's so much to kind of cram in there as far as my story goes, but at this point, it's been just so amazing to see all of these incredible trainers. They've got the training skill set, right? They've gone to KPA, they've gone through the catch program, all kinds of dog training programs, or maybe they're self-taught. They've just gone through a lot of webinars and a lot of books and all of that, and they have a great mentor. And so to see them finally start to make money from all of that time spent and money spent on that education is really incredible. And I know that it's going to help them to move essentially the industry forward as a result. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions about my journey. I'm an open book. I've talked about it online before, so I can always talk more about it or share some insights.
And now, so who do you think benefits the most from the modern dog trainer? And I know we have stuff for everybody, but like,
yeah,
where do they need to be in their journey of moving towards whatever goals they have? Who do you find that comes into the modern dog trainers and has success, but who's like the ideal person that this content, these programs are for?
It's not a certain place that people are at in their businesses. A lot of people, we have people that are preemptively, like really proactively investing in the business side of their business. They want to take this on as a real official like career path. And so maybe they're still going through a dog training school, learning how to train dogs, but they're also investing in the business, acumen and knowledge and strategies so that they can actually start making money right out the gates. We've had people actually, go through KPA kind of around the same time that they're in our program, and they're able to pay for KPA in full when they graduate. So that's really amazing. They're able to utilize that skill set immediately, start making money immediately, so that you're on your own 2 feet at that point. So some people are really just getting started with training, but also a lot of people are we've had a lot of people move. So maybe they're moving their business, and maybe they've always been reliant on referrals, and that's no longer going to work, right? You're going to need an actual marketing strategy to hit the ground running in your new location. So it really gives you mobility when it comes to where you're located. We had somebody move from, I think they were in Louisiana, and they moved to Montana. And 1 year later, she's operating with like 5 contractors already, and she's really hit the ground running in Montana. So it's really amazing to be able to give women that freedom, because they have a skill set that they can implement and use anywhere in the world, right? So you're now not tied to your location because of that's where you've always been, but you now have skills that you can use to move anywhere in the world, because these strategies apply to everybody in the world. They're pretty common sense strategies. So, if you want to move, it's a great option. But really the main characteristic I see is that you're an action taker. So you are ready to put the fear aside and take action despite the fear. And because, running a business is scary, you're going to have to do a lot of things that are going to get you, out there and visible, and that can be scary. So if you're determined to make this happen for yourself, to create your business to be something that you actually want to run every day and be there every day, or actually be able to take time off from, then, we definitely have some amazing strategies that have been proven over the years. Despite the pandemic, they've been working just fine, or probably even better than ever. So I really would just say that if you're ready to take action, and you know that this is what you truly want for yourself, you want to be a professional dog trainer that makes a really good income, and you can take care of yourself and your family and live in a house and have a nice car, then that's really, what we're here to do, is help empower you to do that and let you get there much more quickly.
For sure. I think what's really been interesting to me as I've gotten to be, gotten onto your team and gotten to know the dog trainers and everything, and it seems like what I've noticed is there's been 2 main groups of people that have come on that at the beginning, they find us at this moment in their business. One of them is fairly new trainers who are, they love dogs. They've got some sort of dog training certification and they're ready to go. Like it's just a passion. It's something that they love, and they really want to help not only the dogs but their owners and their families. But they kind of get started in their business, and they're realizing, wait a minute, the business, they didn't teach me the business in dog training school. I'm a great dog trainer, but I'm not a business person yet. What would you like? Where would you guide those folks for? Like, what's their first? Like, what would be your advice be for those folks?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some incredible results in our academy programs. We call it the Modern Dog Trainer Academy, and it really is designed to be basically the last investment you're ever going to need to make to get yourself to six figures. So it's a 6-month program to really get you the foundations of business, and not just what you can learn in college, right? That's nice, but that's often outdated because, technology and everything, like the world moves so much quicker than professors can really keep up with in the industry. So we talk about so many different things, from mindset to make sure that you are able to overcome the fears that you're up against, the fears that you grew up or were taught to be fearful of, so that you can then take the actions that you need to grow your business with confidence and not feel like you have to doubt yourself. So we go from mindset to marketing. So some proven marketing strategies that hundreds of other trainers in our program have implemented and seen success with. And those are not strategies that you need to wait around 6 months for.
Right.
They are strategies that can start working in like 6 weeks or less, again, depending on how quickly you implement. So that's why a lot of people, when they join the academy, they're ready to go, they're ready to take action. They know this is for them. They're often making back their investment into the academy in less than 6 months. So it's really an amazing thing to see that happen. We also go into how to position your services. A lot of the times you'll hear me say that people aren't paying for your time. They're paying for your expertise, and that should be really priced different and positioned different than the typical traditional hourly pricing model that's always been taught or expected in the dog training industry. And it's beyond this conversation, but it just doesn't make sense, so we teach you how to price yourself based off of the value that you're providing rather than the amount of hours you're spending with somebody. We go over all the things, systems, and what else, Brian?
Well, there's so much. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like you can't even scratch the surface. Even these 5 weeks of videos have barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And it's really been a great way for us to kind of maybe show folks where they need to work on their business more than give them a lot of although we've given a lot of great things you could do to, right now. That's what it's so exciting about the program for a new like so many times. And I know Ty's going to share a couple of these stories in a little bit, but folks have come in and earned $5,000, $10,000 during the class period, like during the few months that they're going through the class, way more than covering the cost of their course. And that's income they can earn every month from then on out. And they're not going to fall into the trap of, like you said, charging for their time, working 1 million hours, driving all over the countryside, working weekends and nights. Like all that stuff is like, I love how you, like, one of the very first things is, okay, what is your ideal schedule? And then let's build a business around that. Cause some
so
folks,
different.
And
some people
folks
really like being busy, and I'm like, great. Some people, really want their evenings and weekends, and I say, great. So that's why we really start with that. Is like, who are you? What do you want out of your business? And that helps you design a business that's suited to you rather than a business that everybody else is creating and deciding that's what it should look like, right? You want to create something that is really yours.
Yeah, no, I think it's so neat because people are coming in with very different, lives. Like they're different places in their lives. Some people are just out of college. Some people are, moms with 2 or 3 kids. Some people are, retired, like everybody's life's a little different and their
Right.
business goals are different. And I think that's like the second thing you always say is, okay, let's build a business to hit your goals, not just let the thing, do whatever, but it's like you have to be
Right.
very intentional about where you take the business side of things so that you've got that ideal business at the end of the day. You're working with people you love, doing things you love, on a schedule you love. Like, what's not to love, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
that's
I
awesome.
teach these things because, again, I have been there, I've done that. I've made all the mistakes. I've worked weekends and evenings and charged by the hour. Like, I know you know this because it's in something we're working on. It's in a special secret project. But
Yes.
my very first hourly rate as a trainer, from what I can remember, I'm pretty sure it was $45 an hour. And when people tell me that's their hourly rate, they say it as if it's like shameful or something, like I'm going to judge them for it. But I would never judge you. I don't care. Like,
Right.
let's move on next. let's grow. I'm not going to dwell, and I never would want anybody to dwell on where they're at. And really, it doesn't make any sense to waste any time on that. Like, let's learn and do better and keep growing.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, and I think that's been such a powerful thing, because the second type of person that comes in, that I've seen, and again, this is just my point of view, but is the trainer that's already started their business. They've got a lot going on, usually way too much. Um, they're they're feeling burned out. They're pulled in a million different directions. They don't know like how to get out of this rat race that they've kind of created for
Yeah.
themselves. And
Yeah.
it's so fun to watch those folks like take a vacation,
Yeah.
or schedule a week off or whatever it is. And so,
Yes.
um, how do you like dive into those kinds of businesses and situations and really help those folks?
Yeah, well, I mean, one particular story really comes to mind, and that is Gwen. And it comes to mind because I just saw her. I just saw her post the other day, and she's on live right now, chatting in the comments. So I love it. Hi, Gwen. Um, so when she came
Oh,
to
cool.
me, it was really like a last ditch effort. It was like either I'm able to help her or she's shutting down the business. And it was a business she, I think, acquired 14 years ago. And since she got it, she never took a break. She never took a vacation. And within, oh, I think it was like 2 months in, she took time off. She went to go see her parents. I was like, wow, okay, let's do it. And so, really, it's just amazing to see these transformations of really burned out, not liking anybody on your team, having to take care of everybody on your team and your clients, and when really it should be the other way around, your team supporting you. Um, and to see her really blossom is the way I would put it. Like, she had so many fears that she had to overcome, from raising her prices to letting staff people go that were really not ideal, things like that. So we helped her really navigate those challenging situations and legitimate fears. And it's been amazing to see her really embrace you know what she thinks is best for her clients, and really prioritizing that over what she initially thought they could afford or what they wanted, right? And having that transformation, going from like catering to clients to really being the professional and setting like, this is what you need to do, this is what needs to happen, and these are all the benefits of doing it like that, and helping her like with the marketing of that, the selling of that, the pricing of that. And now I just saw her post like a year later. Not only is she taking a week off like every 6 weeks, she is still running this program that she was so scared to launch initially because she thought nobody would sign up for it because it was too long, it was too expensive, it was this and that. And now she's sharing that not a single person has come back with a complaint or
Wow.
a lack of like progress in that training program. Like, she's seeing incredible results from having done that, when before she was dealing with like whiny clients. So it's just been amazing to see these really talented trainers really kind of regain control over their business, really. to give themselves the resources and the capacity to breathe and make more money and get better results out of it through their training. So yeah.
That's awesome. It's awesome. I remember when I was first getting on board with you guys, her video was one of the very first that I watched. And I'm like, wow, this, this is powerful stuff. And it was one of those things that like, okay, this is a big deal. And to see someone like her who put her life into a business and was so burned out and like you said, ready to throw in the towel, and be able to now she's got her dream business. Such a great thing. So awesome. Well, thank you, Ines. We're like halfway through our time already. Like we could go on for hours, literally. I love this conversation. I know we've got a million stories to share, but we also need to have Ty share with us a little bit here in a second. And folks, if you are just joining us right now, make sure you drop any comments or questions. We'd love to hear what you're thinking at the same, right now. And maybe if you could drop in your 2022 goal in the comments. We'd love to see kind of what your goals are, where you want to take your business in the next, I guess it's 4 months, September, October, November. Yeah, 4 months. I'm already at the end of August. I can't believe it. And there's still plenty of time to be able to go and do some amazing things. And that's where I'd love to hear what people are, where they're at with their goals, how you're doing on your 2022 goals, and any questions you've got. We're gonna spend some time at the very end to do some Q&A stuff and be able to answer some of that for everybody. So please drop those in the. I love that Gwen's here still. It's so great that she's still plugging in, still learning, still getting encouraged. It's so great. Thank you, Gwen, for dropping some comments in there. So cool. All right. And so also today we have Ty, as I shared earlier. And Tylene is amazing. She is the person that every single person talks to when they are considering joining a modern dog trainer program. And she is actually someone who gets to find out if you're really a good fit for us, because not every trainer is. Not every trainer, is in alignment with the type of trainers that we work with, and maybe their business thinking and thoughts are not quite aligned either. And so Ty gets to really kind of, first of all, make sure we're a good fit, not just for us, but for you as well. We're really about creating success stories. And this first step of having a strategy session with Ty is such a hugely important component of this to make sure that we're a good fit. But then once we've determined that, then she really digs into your business and in a short amount of time, 10, 15 minutes, and figures out what is it that you need to do, the big thing that you need to do to really move the needle in your business quickly to get the results you want, whether that's taking control of your schedule again, increasing your income, finding your ideal clients, whatever that is. Ty is a master at really determining exactly which program to go to. It's not always we're not always promoting one particular thing. There's actually different levels that we have. And so Ty is going to make sure that she puts each person in exactly the right spot so that they have success quickly. And she does it with a smile on her face every single time. She does it with the heart for the person on the other side of the phone. And just an amazing, amazing asset to the modern dog trainer. So welcome, Ty. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. All of this is just so exciting. The stories, the trainers that I get to talk to, and like you said, just really get an understanding of where they're at with their business, what it looks like for them. How is their dream ideal business that they're going to be able to provide for their family, take additional vacations, buy a home. Like a business is so, it's so exciting, right? Like it's the best thing to have and to be proud of. And so when I'm talking with the trainers and helping them have a real clear picture of what their business really needs to do, or how they want to design it, and then with the help of the team, with Megan and Ines and Maddie and just everyone, and yourself, Brian, like I can help, I hear them and I listen and I can help guide them like in the right direction because it's different for everyone. And it's just it's an incredible experience to have them share with me because it's also not, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to say, I'm going to do this business. You know, this is what I want to do. I want to be a trainer. And the trainers are from all levels, from just, you know, as Ines mentioned, self-training and reading all the books and afraid that they don't have the skills to really do it, to those that have been doing it, but they're still lacking the business side. Their skills are great and they have clients, but they're like, what do I do? What do I do for marketing? What do I do for, you know, how do I use social media? Like, what am I supposed to be saying? And also dealing with clients, right? Like that's a big thing. Like trainers love to work with dogs and people, you know, and the business side of things can be challenging for them. So when we're having a conversation, that's what I'm helping figure out. You know, that's what I'm doing is what part of the business side of things can we as a team help you accomplish and quickly. You know, that's what our sessions and our conversations, that's what's going on.
That's awesome. So what, you've told me some stories about like where people are at when they come to you, when they first talk to you. And you've told me like they're either brand new, scared to death, like,
Yes.
you know, about business because it's something that's outside of their comfort zone in a big way, or they're like we've talked about, you know, burned out, they're frustrated, they're not getting the results they want, they don't know what to do, like, you know, they know that they're in the right place but they don't know like what their next step is. So what is like, you know, this is a strategy session. This isn't a, you know, I know some people feel like, okay, I'm going to get on this call and it's just going to be a big sales pitch, but that's not what it is. It is truly a strategy session, and I know you help them like get to that next thing. So what are some of the examples that you could share of people that, you know, where they were when they first jumped on the call with you, some of the things they shared with you, and then like what did you direct them to do that was actionable right then?
The person that comes, you know, to mind first would probably be Morgan, who had just moved to a new area, had training for a little bit, but not a business side of things, and also felt a little bit overwhelmed because there were lots of trainers in the area that she moved to. And she didn't know how she was going to separate herself out from all of those trainers that had years of experience and the pricing side of things for herself. You know, she was kind of not believing in her own worth. So, you know, she very quickly gained the support and the strength and the courage and said, you know what, no, I can do this in this area and I can make this happen. And this is my dream. And she did. She literally within the first 3 or 4 months of the program made back her entire investment and is still going strong.
Yeah.
With a lot of challenges. So
yeah. Oh, that's so great. And I've watched her video also, and it's like, man, this is really cool. Like to see somebody who's, you know, brand new, and if I remember right, I think she moved also to a new place initially.
yeah,
So she was
brand new
kind of,
area.
yeah, so she was out of you know, out of her comfort zone in a huge way, and really were able to help her out a lot, which is really cool. So what can people expect if they were to jump on a strategy session with you? You know, we'll drop a link in the bottom here in a little while. It's where you can connect with Ty and start the conversation with the modern dog trainer and just see if it's a fit. If it's not, it's not. So what can people expect when they jump on the phone with you, and like how does that process actually work?
It's really a conversation. What they can expect is I'm going to help them have a clear picture and an understanding of what they need out of their business, what they should be focusing on, where they should be going, what's important to them, and helping them get in the mindset of this is what I can accomplish in the next 3 or 4 months if we're trying to hit that 2022 goal. It is completely possible to figure out and to help with the adjustments and steer them in a way that will give them like immediate relief. And that's very true as well for those that we're very familiar with that are at that level of they're running very high speed. They are, already at the 6-figure income level, but they need time in their busy lives to think and focus like a CEO, to have the brain space and energy to work on the parts of their business that really brings them the most joy, that they want to grow. Like with Gwen, where she had a program and she wanted to do this, and she was like a little bit like, I don't know. But when you're at that level, getting your time back and your systems into place, and the right people can make all of the difference, so that you then do have that energy for giving the time to the projects and your passions that mean the most to you, whether it's writing a book, like one of our, Georgette is one of our that really wants to write a book, or just literally having time to go to the gym and self-time. It's very different on different levels of what that looks like, even when you're at a very high functioning level as far as revenue is concerned. So, but there's always room for growth. And you can literally have the support and the guidance to figure out which area that you need to grow and focus on. So that's what it kind of looks like when we have conversations.
So I love that, because they're coming in probably with all these things going on in their head, whether it doesn't matter what level they're at, they're probably got a million things going on in their head, and you're giving them a really clear picture as to where they're at right now. Like, I use this analogy a lot, is like, you can't figure out where to draw a map from where you are to where you want to be, you've got to know where you are now, right? So you got to have a starting place. So that clarity on where they're at right this minute, what's working, what's not, so great, and such a powerful thing for them to walk away with, even if they never work with us. Just having that clarity right there is so powerful, and then giving them their first action step is another really, really great thing. So, man, that's such a great thing. And how long do the calls usually take?
It depends on what they have going on. Generally, 45 minutes to an hour. Okay. It really is just a matter of how much they have going on, what we need to talk through, what we need to focus on. 45 minutes to an hour, because I am a very big believer in time blocking myself.
Yeah, for sure.
That is what I set aside to dedicate to every person that I speak to is the hour of, this is our time.
Perfect.
So
awesome. So carving out an hour is not a small thing for a lot of people, but I believe they're going to get a huge amount of value from that hour. And there's it's no risk, right? No cost, no risk. Like, That's awesome. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Ty. Is there any other stories you want to share with us real quick before we take a few questions?
I do actually. I am very proud of Dara, who is a mother of three with a very small baby at home. Her husband has always been the provider for the family, not loving what he does for a living. And she really wanted to be able to provide and make that shift in the family so that she could be the provider and her husband could find another job that he loves, instead of just being the provider. And she is doing it. She is working on it. She's making it through. She's got her first client. And I love seeing the support of partnerships, like the transfer of, I'm going to help out now doing something that I love. And then it provides the relief in the family system. And it's a wonderful dynamic. And I love that she's up and going and doing it. And I can't wait to see where she's at in the next 6 months.
No, that's super exciting, and I'd love to kind of follow that story along. That's going to be pretty cool. Very cool. All righty. So let's take a few questions before we wrap up. And I've got, if you could drop your questions underneath the video somewhere in the comments, that would be great. Also, if you want to drop your 2022 goals, I'd love to see some of those. For some reason.
Did you guys see Gwen's comment? She apparently has also been working out for a year now. It's more than me.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very cool. All right, let me see if I can open this up and actually see the comments. For some reason, it's not showing me. Gwen says self-care. That was one of my commitments I had to myself. Started with the modern dog trainer. Okay, that's what you were just saying. That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Exciting. All right, let's see. Why are my comments not showing? Got 4 comments.
You might have to open it and then pause it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Kate says, I would love to move in the future. But Kate, we need you here in Buffalo. No worries. Yeah. And honestly, like,
all right.
that's something I did with my own business. Yeah, I moved from Texas to New York State with my dog training business. So I'm very familiar with what that looks like and what that all entails. And so being able to see so many women, because the majority of our clients are women, like that's just how the industry is, right? And to be able to see them have that freedom to pick up and move, whether it's because they need to accompany a spouse that's, got a job transfer, or they really just want to get out of the location they currently are, that freedom to be able to know that you can really just pick up and move, and these systems and strategies that we teach are applicable in anywhere on the earth. We've had clients see incredible success on almost all the continents. Australia, Europe, Africa, right. Even we have South African clients. So it really is, a skill set that you're going to learn. And honestly, what we teach can be applied to any business. So it very much is centered around, how dog trainers implement this kind of stuff, because I'm a trainer and I know what you're up against. But, if you ever wanted to start a different business, you would still have that skill set. Like, it's not something you're ever going to unlearn or forget how to do. It's really going to be stuff that you're going to be able to apply to anything that you do moving forward. So it's really cool to see that.
That is cool. So I found sort of a comment more than a question, but it sort of has a question built in. And it's from Julie. She's saying that I'm just starting to add board and train options to my programs. I was just doing in-home classes. I can't wait to learn something from you. What kind of recommendations would you have for Julie getting started with board and train?
I don't see that question. Is
It's
it?
in the it's in the event. It's not an event thread.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you repeat it then? I'm like a visual person. I have to like
No,
see it,
that's
but
no problem. It says, I'm just starting to add board and train options to my programs. I was just doing in-home classes. I can't wait to learn something from you. What would
Okay.
you what would your advice be to her as she's starting out her board and train stuff?
I have definitely offered board and trains. There's a lot of stuff. I would say trust yourself and trust your gut. Board and trains are not for everybody. Yes, they're a high ticket, offer you can offer, but they're not the only high ticket thing you can offer. So a lot of what we teach is creating a 4-figure program, no matter like what's included, like whether you're just offering private lessons or it's a combination of a couple of classes and a couple of private lessons, or it's a board and train and private lessons. No matter what you're offering, you can turn that into a 4-figure program. So what I don't want to see you kind of corner yourself into is thinking that in order to charge 4 figures, I have to offer board and trains, because it's absolutely not true. So if you realize, you get into it, you got a couple dogs in your house and you can't sleep for 2 weeks because they're whining and barking and scratching, then give yourself that grace and allow yourself to say, that's really not what I want to offer. I want to be able to really disconnect at night. People I've seen, trainers, myself included, that offer boarding trains that you just like can't really turn off because you've just got somebody else's dogs in your house 24/7 for 2-3 weeks in a row. And so if you like that, and you like being on the go and always having something to keep an eye out for, then that's fine. If that's, but I don't want you to do that just because you think that you have to in some way, shape, or form. So that would be my suggestion, is make sure you really enjoy it rather than thinking that you have to offer it in order to make that kind of income, because you really don't. Well, I don't think most of our clients offer board and trains to charge 4 figures. So
Right.
there's
I,
other ways.
I think that's been like the biggest breakthrough I see in our clients is how, like, when they create their signature program and how that like free gives, like it blows their minds. Like, like,
Yeah.
how does this, like, why haven't I thought of this? It's amazing. I think that's one of the unique things about the programs here. And I know you love blowing people's minds in a great way. And that's been a huge way that people have, I think, really taken that to heart and seen some big results from that. Okay, Jennifer's saying, I'm a fairly new trainer. I just graduated from Animal Behavior College, and
Great.
I currently feel so lost. What should she do?
I guess for being lost, I mean, that could be like interpreted in so many different ways, right? Do you feel lost in like the training aspect, like you don't know how to train, or do you feel lost in how to make money, find clients? That could be interpreted a lot of different ways. So just know that you're definitely like not alone. There are so many incredible programs out there that really teach you how to be a great trainer. You get, book smart. You understand the science behind it, and you learn some techniques behind it. But really, when it comes to the real world application of how to manage, how to get clients to cooperate, how to get clients in the first place, how to structure your services, marketing, like so much of that is not spoken about. And that's really where we come in with our academy programs. We teach you how to navigate all of like those conversations with clients, from pricing to what to say on the phone to what to say on your social media to get clients to volunteer to talk to you, like all of those things. And then Coach Megan, her specialty beyond just like general support and really knowing where everything is in the program, she's really, really great at client communication. So she has a whole course that she taught that is included as a bonus on client communication. So making sure they're compliant and following through so that you can get those good results from your training. Because it's not that you don't know how to train dogs. Really, the hardest part is getting the people to implement what you're teaching and getting the whole family on board and getting that consistency set up.
Awesome. All right, so my comments are still not opening up without
Oh, okay.
turning on the video at a weird place. So
Yeah.
if you guys have access to those, that would be probably great. There's a few of them in there.
Yeah, let's see. Yes, all of the above. Kimberly, you're saying anyone do this out of their home, not having a facility. Can you elaborate on that? What do you mean by this? Are you talking about the board and train comment earlier, or training in general? Maybe we can answer that question. I would say the majority of our students really are offering private lessons and classes in some way. So you definitely do not have to have a facility to get to six figures. Brian's asking, can you speak on automations via CRMs and VAs to free up your time in your day-to-day? Also, very broad question, but yes, I have a section in there that teaches you how to find a VA that is going to help you and really aligns with who you are and how you want your business to run. And we also show you what it's like to delegate to other people so that when you get to that point, you're not scrambling. You already understand what you need to have in place in order to delegate effectively and get the right people on your team, and then know how to teach them what to do. And then beyond that, like just getting the right trainers on board if you ever want to expand out to having other trainers on your team, really understanding how you go about your business, how you treat your clients, how you run the lessons. Those things are all things that you learn how to delegate to other people so that you can, you can't quite clone yourself, but you can clone a lot of what you do to have other people implement it in the way that you would, which is really important. See if we have any other questions. I do everything out of my home. Awesome. That sounds good.
Okay, last chance, folks. If you want your question answered, drop it in the box right now. Well, thank you guys so much again for joining us. And unless we've got any further questions, I'd love to kind of pass it back to Ines and let you kind of wrap this up. I know,
yes,
you know, that there's a lot going on. We've got some big things coming out in September in the next week or two. Super excited about, and I know that's going to help so many people too. But if somebody's like really, you know, been going through the live events we've been doing all month, staying up on that, they've been using the content that's available on the blog, they've been, you know, taking advantage of all the different resources that we do have, and they're ready to really move to that next level, to make this the year that things really change for them. What do you recommend that they do?
Well, the very first step in just having a conversation with us, and we really, like we've talked about already in this call, we talk to every single potential student because we make sure that they are aligned with, you know, what we have happening in our community. You know, this is not just a group program, but you get one-on-one coaching and group interactions. And so we have to make sure that group stays supportive
Right.
and friendly, and you know, so we really are careful about who we bring in, and then you know, we want to make sure that you are in the right space, headspace, or you know, life space or business space to be able to implement what we're teaching as quickly as possible, so you can see the results that we want you to see, so that you can meet your goals just exponentially faster than you realize. And so the very first step that we want to do is have that conversation with you, get to know who you are. And that's essentially that strategy session with Ty. And Ty was directly trained by me. She has learned so much about our students, and it's really amazing to see her connecting on such a personal level. It really is. It gets personal a lot because business is personal, as much as we don't like to admit it. And so to see her have those really personal conversations and help people feel safe and comfortable and help them make the best decision for them is really so beautiful. So I have just tossed the link to our Google form, which is essentially just a short application where you give us some info about yourself. And then what Ty does is she'll connect with you right after. She's real quick. she's a go-getter, so she likes to get those conversations running while you're still thinking of it. So she will definitely be in touch very quickly after you submit that application and see what's happening and see what we can help with, if anything. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to see the next group of folks that take you up on that offer and where their businesses are at. Even before the end of this year, like that's the crazy thing of how fast things move around here.
Yes. Like I said, I mean, so many students really see their return in the first few months of joining really either program. It really depends on how quickly you implement. We have the proven strategies, and it really is up to our students to hit the ground running and embrace it and act despite the fear, because it is a scary to run your own business, but it is absolutely worth it to have that freedom and independence and control.
Yes.
So, yeah,
for sure. No, it's fantastic. Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking time out of your day. I know that both of you are very busy and got a lot going on. And thanks to everybody that watched us both live and on the recordings. If you are watching the recording, feel free to drop any comments in there. We'll keep an eye on those as well and make sure that we direct you to the right resources or maybe answer the questions in the comments for you. Stay plugged into this group. When Ines talks about the support that the community gives you, it's really here in this group and in some of our other groups for the different programs that we have where that support happens. And it's really powerful to watch that, and encouraging to watch other trainers who may be a step or two ahead of you, come alongside of you and give you what they did in that situation and how they use the modern dog trainer to move their businesses forward. And it's really been really encouraging to watch that. Not all groups are like that, so it's really been neat to see, and to see people, the community that Ines is building is really the biggest asset, I think. And it is really something it's special. It is the thing that's going to move the R+ trainer methodology into the forefront of our industry, and it's really excited to see that all happen. So again, thanks everybody for joining us, and if you do have any questions, just drop them in the thing. Other than that, make sure you fill out that form, get on the phone with Ty, let her do a strategy session with you. She'll give you some very valuable things right off the bat, and from there you can make a decision if the modern dog trainer is a good fit for you or not. But other than that, thanks everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.